Thanks for tuning in today. We will be setting the GSI, and this will be a full tutorial on that unit. If you would like to do the basic settings of just irrigation, that will be at 42.5 minutes into this video. This is a long one, so we appreciate your attention, but this will go over all the back end and front end settings for the GSI. Enjoy, and please like and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
All right, let's start with the settings. Okay, first I go to the settings and we'll go over it in the same order that you have here on the list. So let's start with the general settings. As you can see here, remember I told you the unit name. So here I can change the unit name. I can delete this one and choose whatever name I want to insert. Phone number is just for the SIM card number if you want. I mean, it's doing nothing, but just for you to remind. Irrigation heads, the GSI Pro has an option of 2 irrigation heads. You can see here. I'll go back to the main screen. Irrigation head A and B. Each one can have his own master valve and his own water meter. And it can have up to 4 maximum fertigation machines. Sorry, not machines, fertigation pumps. They can have one fertigation center on each irrigation head. That means they can put 2 fertigation center. In each fertigation center, you can install up to 4 fert pumps. Okay, so I will show you where to do it, but in here you can see that all the valves that were set to irrigation head A will be on the left side, and the irrigation the valves that go with the irrigation head B will have to be on the right side. This is automatically. It's not up to you to put it on the right or on the left. It's just on the list when you choose. There will be on irrigation head A. It will go to the left side. I will show you. You can see the main fert here because it has a fert center and the main fert. All right, so this is just for the display that you see. All the valves, each valve have its own number. All right, so let's go back to the settings. Of course, here you need to change to imperial, and then you will change the area unit. Time zone. I just go here and I choose the time zone wherever I'm at, wherever the unit is installed. What I can do here, I can press here. Just for the demo, I can leave it here.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Okay. Save location. Address, you can also put the address here, and then by description, you can put here installed behind the hanger and of whatever. I mean, just give it a description where it was installed. You can put when it was installed, and in this case, you will have the way to follow it up if you have I don't know warranty issues or whatever for the future. Because once you have like 100 of units, so we start forgetting on each one. We have the option of the free inputs. It's either I will send to you the list because it's different between the AC and DC units. But in here you have the option of either analog sensors. All right, that if you can see on the unit, you can see on it says AD1, AD2, and AD3 on the PCB. Above the other inputs that you have, like the FS, WS, just the regular inputs, you have this one. So this can be either all 3 of them 0 to 10 volts analog, or if I press it here, they're all gonna go to digital inputs. They switch to digital inputs. All right, so they called free inputs. This will be on AD1, AD2, and AD3 on the PCB. Look at the input. On the DC unit, you see here, this is the DC unit. And you can put 3 analog valves. That in here, you have a jumper, okay, bridge jumper, that you can switch it from 420 milliampere to 10 to 0 to 10 volts. Okay, we have 3 of them on the DC units. So that means in the DC units, the maximum analog sensors that you can connect is 3. All right. And the DA and DA1 and DA2 will be digital only, as you can see here. On the AC units, those two first one can be also 4 to 20 or 0 to 10 by changing the jumper. And like I told you, sorry?
Is that a physical jumper or is that a software jumper?
It's a physical. It's a physical. It's a JP4 and JP5.
Okay.
They're right above the common strip on the right-hand side.
Right.
Yes, right next to it. And on the DA1, DA2, and DA3, this is like the switch for the digital. Okay, the digital or the analog. So that can be 5 sensors total. Okay, but keep in mind that once you switch those 3, it's either all 3 of them will be analog or all 3 of them will be digital. You cannot mix that in those D1 to DA3. So and also you can see here the number of maximum open valves, open output that you have, like available output. This is 24, like we saw before on the list that you have AC24. Now we have here season settings. You can set when the season start and then when the season end. And you see on the top here, the counting of the water, of the amount of water that you irrigated will be from season start till season, basically for the whole season. But usually we just leave it as it is. I mean, sometimes if you have a season which is only for the winter season, for the summer season, so you can switch you can set the dates here, and it will start and stop counting once the season ends. Seasonal budget, this is like the maximum that you would like to irrigate in the whole season. This means that once it will pass that number, you will not be able to irrigate anymore. You will not open the irrigation. You will have to either set a higher number or just leave it by 0 if you want. The reset, I mean, it just reset logs, reset accumulators. I mean, it's just for the information. It's nothing for for controlling the unit. Rain changes. Here I see you don't work with the weather station, but usually if you work with the weather station, like the the information coming from Weather Shock online, and you're getting automatically the information to here. Temperature, humidity, and rain. So basically, if I'll mark it here, if you have a rainy day which is above 55%, what it's showing on the weather station, then it will not irrigate. It will pause the irrigation for that day. Also, if you have, like, let's say 30 millimeters on that day, and I will set here 30, so it will also pause the irrigation. All right, let's go to system settings. System settings on the AC units, you have a backup battery, which is like 4 batteries of 1.5 volt each, AA batteries, just basic AA batteries. This is for the backup battery. That means that if on the AC units, if the powers go off, so this is just to keep the unit alive, that it will be able to send you the alert that the power went off. And also it closes all the solenoids, making sure all the solenoids are off, that it will not leave valves irrigating without the power on to the unit. On the sensors, this is like the sensors are updating all the info from them. I'm talking about the analog sensors here. So this everything just need to the checkbox needs to be marked here. And leave it as the default. As you can see, 10 milliseconds. This is the measure delay, and you can change it if you want, but usually on on the ECPH, I mean, 10 milliseconds, it's perfect. This is like what we recommend on the default. And the sensor data update 30 seconds, that's fine, because you don't want it all the time. You know, if it's like a DC unit or something, you don't want it like to run all the time and send sensor data, because it's you know, it's getting heavy on the unit if you have, let's say, like every second or something like that. So just keep it on this default settings, but it's up to you. If you want to play with it a bit, it's fine. Macro settings, it's like mostly for you can see it for landscaping contractors and everything. So let's say if they have like several projects which they're growing, they have like lawns on it, like turf. So you can, and it's a rainy day, so you can just log in on the macro system and just write down over there to shut down all the turf and the lawns irrigation programs instead
That's
of
when
going
they're
to
not,
each.
that's when they're not using weather.
Yes, exactly. But it's basically for those contractors to control like several projects and several units for landscaping. I mean, for you, it's I don't think you will ever use it if you're using only on the agricultural projects. Change modem, change model. This is like to open extra outputs. Here you have the maximum already. We have the options of to open extra, let's say if you sold, I mean, I think you buy in the United States, most of the units are just AC24 fully open. But
For
usually,
the most part.
yes, so if we sell, I don't know, in Israel or something, like a unit and the customer wanted only 8 valves open,
Then I
and
would
then he
set it to
decided
8.
to add more. So yes, you're gonna have like a license from his marketing guy from Galcon. He will get a license number, will insert it here, and he can activate more outputs once he paid for he's paid for it. After he paid for it, so he can have he will get the license number. Modem settings. This is just to change the APN. The APN is like you can see here. Let's say some of our providers, one of them is like his APN is called Internet. The other one is Internet G. As you can see here, it's IoT, AER, whatever. You can look it up on Google, the APN of each provider that you need. This is for, let's say, the option of doing it online. Let's say you sold the unit with the SIM card, and then your customer, I don't know, would like to change the SIM card provider. So you're changing it from here. You ask him for the APN. You inserting the APN here. Leave the current card that you have. You change here, you switch the APN in here, you write down the correct APN, you change APN, and then you switch the SIM card for the new card with this new APN.
Okay.
But in order for it to change, you gotta be online. Just let's continue for the Centec. As you're familiar with the Centec, with the Irimax, you get a key. Once you get the key, you go here, you insert the key, and then you will see on this screen, you will see the info from the Centec sensor that you want to use. Let's go over here, irrigation settings. In here, it's just like the two. I believe it's the main thing for the irrigation, but this is like the water meter. Okay, irrigation head number. You remember we saw A and B. So this is the same. Instead of writing A and B, it's 1 and 2, but it's talking about the same thing. So in here, if you want to work and to work on the settings of the irrigation head on A or B, it's 1 or 2. You can give it a name here. This is for the solenoids. I'm sure you want it to be an automatic. Okay, so the cycle data, it's the same. You see the fertigation data, everything here. need to be marked, okay? And keep it as the default. Let's go to the water meter. This is the same if you want, we set the irrigation head B, okay? Also here you can pause the irrigation if dry input is on. As for now, I have only RS available, so that means the WS was set already and the other FS was set already. I have only RS available. This is why it's showing only RS here in here. If you want several irrigation programs to run on the same time, this need to be marked. Local program active, don't use it because this is like for inserting a program through the keyboard, through the GSI keyboard. But what we saw that happens that sometimes if a customer is like inserting a program, local program, it crashes the other setting program that was set, like from the software. So usually I don't use the local program. Okay. Conditional inputs. This is for the logical condition. I'll show you later, but you can if you want for the conditional input for that irrigation head, so you can log in from here, from the conditional input. But I'll show you that from each program, you can set each program its condition input. That means that we have the option of logical condition. That means if you close contact, let's say you have a digital input that close contact, and you want that once it closed the contact to open this irrigation program. Let's say if you have a frost detector or something, and you want that once it getting to the frost to open the irrigation by condition. Okay, so I'll show you how to do it. This is what we do on the logical conditions. Water meter. That's the info of the water meter. You can see here irrigation head 1, water meter number 1. As you can see, like I told you, the inputs are flexible. You can see that this is a water meter, but they connected to the FS. And I told you that the RS is the only one that was available. So it's showing you have an option to connect it also to the RS because it's available. Felt meter type, you can choose here the pulse size. Let's go for the Fert settings. Fert center number 1 will only be set to irrigation head A. Okay, it cannot be set to irrigation head B. If you want for irrigation head B, I'll choose 2. The same thing as the irrigation heads. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the Fert center. Let's go over it. Main Fert output. That means if you have like a booster pump, like on our Fertigets or any other Fert centers that you have several injectors, let's say like several Fert pumps, and you have a booster pump that should be running all the irrigation, not just on and off once it's need to dose, because this is the booster pump, you know, it's running the system of the fertigation. So this is the output, as you can see here. They connected it to output number 1. And here you have all everything you want to do on once you get the alert settings. Keep in mind that fertilizer message, these have to be marked. Fert not finished, also 75%. That means that if it's fert below 75% of the total amounts that it was supposed to fert, you will get the alert. If it was like 100% or 80% of the fertigation, you will not get the alert unless you switch it here and you set it to 80%, or this is up to you. You can change it here on the numbers, and you can go over later on the list here of the alerts. Okay, and let's go. This is the ECPH settings that we have here. So I pressed here. This is default. It's closed. Just press it here and you open it. All right. You see EC sensor and pH sensor. This is where I have connected, you know, like the ECPH monitor. And if I want to do auto correction of the of the dosing of the EC and the pH by percentages. So here I need to set the EC and the pH first. So as you can see, this is the input of it, okay? Put it on A1, don't use the other ones. Okay. A1 pH would be A2, okay? And in here, the maximum FERT EC increase, that means you put the set point of the EC, you want it to be 1.2. Once you're irrigating with the fertigation program and everything, and you're running an irrigation, and the EC is going up to 1. It's not going to 1.2. Maybe it's because of the recipe of the fertigation that it's not going up to 1.2. So in this case, we're doing the auto correction, and in here you can set what's the maximum of extra fertigation that the machine automatically will add to reach the target of the EC set point. Okay, let's say you put a 10% here and it goes only up to 1.1. So it will not go to 1.2 even if you want it to go to 1.2, because the maximum of the percentages you set is only 10%. And you're going only to 1. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. The same thing on the decrease. Okay. That means that if I give him let's say 1 liter per cube to dose 1 liter per cube, and that means that it will decrease. It will FERT less than 1. Since you are over the target, okay? Once you injecting whatever you set to it, the amount of fertigation, and it's higher than the set point, so it will decrease in percentages. Same thing here. You can set it. It's up to you. This is the default. KP, KD, KI. Don't touch it. It is like the default. I see here it's what we didn't have the default here, but it's like 0.15 for the KP and 0.05 for the KI. If you'd like, I can get you the exact numbers, but on the new ones, we have it on the default. Okay, but usually we don't recommend to play with it unless you're like a specialized FERT guy and you know exactly what you're doing on those three options. Same thing, if you go on the pH, FERT increase, decrease, which of course is like the acid, it's the same thing in here. Low EC alert, that means that if the EC is, you can decide here if the EC is 1.1, you want it to alert once it go into 0.9 or 0.8 or whatever, which is like, let's say you decide what is critical for you, what is the level that is critical for you, and you can set it here when to alert. So you see the first two is the low and high EC alert. That means it's just alerting, okay? On the bottom option, it will stop the irrigation. The numbers that they will put here, once it's reaching those numbers, it will stop the irrigation. Now we go to the fertilizer settings, okay? That means I need, in here I set the FERT pumps. Also in here, you choose, remember I told you that FERT center number 1, only go to irrigation head A and only will have fertigation pumps 1 to 4. You cannot put FERT pump number 5 in FERT center number 1. You don't have the option of it. Let's say I'm going to FERT center number 2. You will see here 5 to 8. You see?
Got it.
This is like the default. I'll explain. This is like the FERT pumps, okay? That means fertilizer 1, it's FERT pump number 1, nitro, okay? And in here, use fertilizer. And in here, I choose the output of, on the PCB, the numbers, it's the same as the other ones. The number here, it will be the output the actual connected fertilizer fert pump number 1. All right, but nothing is connected to it, so I will put the mark. I will take out the mark here. Just a second. I just want to show you the other stuff that we have. The fert pump, of course, it can go by fertilizer meter, and you can put here. Sorry, here you see this is the input. Like we said, the inputs before. This was set the fert pump. Its meter was set to be on CS. And is of course the pool size. You can choose here whatever your pump is. Proportional, continuous. This is up to you. And fertilizer leakage. If you have leakage of like fert is running is going out without the program or something, just someone opened the valve or something, you will get the alert for it. Fert type. This is basically for the auto correction. Because if you'd like to control to get to the target EC, and you want this pump is the one that adding like the EC like the NPK. So this is for the NPKs for the EC. You mark the EC. If it's like for the pH, that pump is like the acid pump for the pH or OH to raise to increase the pH. Okay, so this is mostly for the fert type is for the auto correction. I'll put it back on not defined. And that's it. Here you can you see it 0.2, but our recommendation is 2, so you can change it to 2. The cycle of the fert. All right, let's go unit settings, input and output settings. This is just for the. As you can see, you remember I told you for the condition input. So you can put a delay. That means that once it senses the contact is closing of the input, so it will wait for 5 seconds until it's doing whatever we told him to do once that input is closed. Okay.
How do we turn those on? Just when we connect something to it?
Yes. And also this is something new that we have on the input status. If the input is on, you will see it on in here. If it's the contact is closed, like the dry input contact, you will see on. And you know, with during the day, it goes on and off, on and off. So we have a counter for it that you will know how many times it closed contact in 24 hours. You will get the numbers here. Every midnight, this is it's resetting. You will see if this is for the all 4 inputs that we have: RS, WS, FS, and CS. Relay outputs. Remember I told you on the solenoids that you can choose to work with the relay. This is the way to set it. As you can see here, everything is marked, but the default is that everything is not marked, and you need to mark only the one that you need that works with relay. And we have a new option for new installation. Let's say you want to check just the test for the master valve, for fert output, for main fert output. You want just to test it, just to see if it works. You know, you connected everything before you started to set the irrigation program and all the rest. You just want to make sure that it clicks, the solenoid clicks and opens. So in here, you do the manual test. This is how you do it, okay? In this screen. Let's go on. Analog inputs. This is like how to set the analog inputs beside the ECPH that we had. Okay, so in here you go to the analog sensor. That means if you have like temperature sensor, pressure sensor, humidity sensor, of course you can write down its name. You need to choose here if it's 0 to 10. You remember you have those jumpers to switch.
Right.
So in here you choose if it's 10 to 0, 4 to 20 milliamperes. So once I'll choose it, you will see I will have also the high value, low value alert. the delay and the calibration that you can do it here. If you have a temperature sensor, you want to calibrate it, this is the way to do it, to add numbers or to load lower numbers. It depends how close to the target you are. And the minimum value and the maximum value, if it's like temperature, so most of the 4 to 20 milliampere, it goes from -50 to 50. I'm sure in the Fahrenheit it's different. So you can put the values here, the minimum and the maximum value. Usually you know it by the sensor that you have. It's written on the sensor, on its description, what is the minimum and the maximum value to set for it. So it's individual for each. We work with the same sensor in Galcon. So for us, all the temperature sensor we put in -50 to 50, but several other sensors they might go from 0 to 100, even if it's temperature, whatever. So you need to check that first before you do the settings. Condition input. You remember I told you that you can start the program by a dry input. So this is how you do it in here. Condition 1. This you have in the program. Condition 1. This is what you choose in the program settings, which I'll show you next. But just that you know, element type in here, that means what will be the trigger to start that irrigation program, okay? So it's either a program running and you want to pause other program on, or auxiliary output that starts a program, or a valve, or so here, this is the trigger to condition input, okay? Let's say we decide to go with condition input. Let's see if we have, yeah, you see we have condition input. You need to choose on which input it's connected, and then to choose either CS, FS, WS, the input. And you're saying here, once the condition is on, okay, then start condition 1. All right. Also here, you remember I told you have a delay that you can set in here. That means also once the condition is on, hold on for 10 seconds and just then start the program. I can put it in here. You have the options of pausing the irrigation, stop, or of course start. Start will do what will do is that once the contact is closed, it will start the program and will end the program. Even if in the middle of the irrigation is once the program is running and the condition input goes back to off, it will finish the irrigation. If you see below that, we have run while condition is on. That means that if the condition is on and the program started to run, so that means once the condition goes off, the program will stop. It will not finish all the irrigation program. And okay, you can also, if you have a condition and you want it to alert, just to send you the alert that you have a close contact on the some of dry input sensor or whatever, you will get the alert. Only alert, not anything running. So you can choose alert in here. So this is basically for we went over the settings. Alert settings, this is just like you can go over it. Just if you want to check mark in here. Once you have a low flow alert, if you want to stop the irrigation, you don't want to stop it, you want to terminate the program, make sure you open it on the next irrigation. And the false communication, it's only for offline units that not communicating all the time. That means once they have a low flow, it will force communication in order to alert you that you have a low flow. But this is just for the offline units. I don't think he's using those units with the batteries for landscape.
No.
You have a no fertilizer flow alert. Also, you can see the list in here. But I think what will be more interesting is the valve settings. In here, you can see you can give the valve name. The name will be shown on the main screen. This is like the field valve. It will show you the name that you chose for it. Color, last flow rate, nominal flow. This is very important to set the nominal flow. Usually what we do, we're running the first irrigation for each valve. You get the flow rate from it. It will be written in here on the last flow rate. And then I go, you see on the right side, copy values from last irrigation. That means my nominal flow will match the last flow rate. Keep in mind that if you irrigate and fertigate like quantity, so of course it's running you need to choose the amount of water, and then you need to choose the dosing of the amount of dosing. Basically, you have to set the nominal flow in order for the fertigation and the timing of the irrigation table to be correct. Because in this case, it knows the nominal time of the valve's irrigation. So that means it can show you on the table how long it will take to this irrigation by time. This is very important to set the nominal flow. In here, this is the way to decide to choose if it will be an auxiliary output or on which irrigation head this valve is gonna be connected to. Water meter, you need to choose here. It's either 1 or 2. Water factor, like I explained in the this is only for the valve, for each valve. Let's say if you have in one irrigation program, you have number 1, 2, 3 valves irrigating. So in here you can choose that only valve number 2 will irrigate 20% more. If I change it here, the others will irrigate 100%. But I have a water factor for the whole program that I can set in the irrigation program, and I'll show you. Ignore water meter. If you have a valve that is running on the same irrigation head, but I don't know, it's like a side hose that you don't want it to because once you open that hose, so you will get the alerts of water running, like uncontrolled water running, because you did not open an irrigation program, and there are water running for in the water meter. So if you don't want to get those alerts and you want to be able to open that hose every time without getting those alerts, just mark it here. Ignore water meter. Also, the same with the master valve. If you want to open it without the master valve, ignore master valve. We have the option of a co-valve. That means that you set a valve to open and you can attach it a co-valve. That means they both gonna open on the same time. But if I'm pressing here, free valve, you will see everything is going dark. You see, I won't be able to do any settings on this special valve on number 1. That means that this valve will be a co-valve, but only for on and off. Okay, that means you can just, when you open valve number 1, and valve number 2 is like it's co-valve. So you open valve number 1 and the co-valve will just open. It's not going to count flow rate. If I don't do that, the free valve, that means that according to the nominal flow, I'm sorry?
That is counting the pressure from both valves.
The flow rate from both valves, exactly. Right. But it will divide it according to the nominal flow. This is why it's also important, if you have a water meter, to set the nominal flow. Okay. Remember on that logical condition, we have the conditions. So if I wanted to start a valve, so I'm setting this valve to be under condition number 1. In this case, instead of opening a program, I can open a valve. Okay? When I go to the start and stop on the logical condition, it will be only for that valve, condition 1. You can see the alerts here that you can choose if the flow rate is higher in 30%, is higher than the nominal flow. That means maybe I have a hole in one of the pipes, and I getting a high flow. So above 30%, it will send the alert. This also I have a delay that if it's sensing that it's above 30%, it will stay hold on those 2 minutes, and only after those 2 minutes, if I'm still having above 30%, it will alert. Will send the alert to my phone. Line filling time, the area size. If you are irrigating, we have it like a cube per dunam, or you have it like gallons per hectare. So you can, the area, if you want to fertigate or irrigate by area size, so you gotta set first the area size of that valve. Okay, if it's 1, 2, 10, 100 acres, whatever it irrigates. Okay. Also, the precipitation rate. This is also for the rain, right? Crop type. This is up to you, but I don't think. Oh yeah, they have some.
Most people don't use it.
Exactly. Yes. Especially in the agriculture. So this is the way to set all those alerts and to set the valves. On the right side, if I'll set it here, it will go the change, the settings change will go for the whole valves. I can do it individually to each valve, or on this line it will do for all valves that that I have set on this unit. Now let's go to the programs. Oh, we're almost done. So let's just run on the programs. Okay. Irrigation program 1. This is on the left side. It's for, as you can see, irrigation head A and B on the right side. Scheduling, it's either weekly or cyclic. I'm sure you guys know knows whatever you want to insert here. It's up to your client, whatever way you want to irrigate. Start times, if I press the start times, I have 4 of them, 4 start times that I can use. Intervals, if I'm irrigating a cyclic irrigation, the interval time, it's the time between, let's say I open the irrigation on 6 a.m. and I'm running 1 hour of the cycle, and I'm putting interval time for 1 hour. That means it will irrigate 6 to 7 in the morning. Then the interval of time is for 1 hour. That means from 7 till 8, it will not irrigate. And from 8 o'clock, it will go again with the irrigation for the cycles, because we have 5 cycles here. So between each cycle, you will have 1 hour of interval time, which means that it's not going to irrigate on that time. Fertilizer on. You can put a main coal valve that's like I told you on the coal valve, but this will be coal valve for the main valve, for the master valve. Okay, so this means that as long as the irrigation here, the program is running, the coal valve is open with the master valve. Now I'll show you how to set the irrigation. You see the plus here? Yep. Pressing on it. Now the first valve, it's like a sequence, okay? It will not open them on the same time. It will run the first one. Once it's done, the second one will start, okay? They don't irrigate parallel, one after another. Valves, here I choose which valve I want to irrigate. Let's say valve number 2. And you can switch here, either by time or by quantity. Millimeters, usually we go for quantity if we have water meter, or duration by time. So let's go by quantity. Let's say I want this and valve. Did not choose the valve. Oh, okay. Oh, because I don't have water meter attached to it, set to it on the valve number 1 and 2. This is why it went only to 3 and 4. On the valve settings, I need to set that the number 2, valve number 2 and 1 are operating with this water meter. But if I'll go back to duration, you will see that now I can use the other ones. You see? It's not starting only from 3. So duration, this is the time that I want to irrigate. Okay. Whatever, let's just choose an hour. And fertigation program. Fertigation, as if you're familiar with the regular GSI, over there you choose the valve, the amount of water or duration, and then the amount of fertigation, either by time or by quantity, or related to the irrigation. But in here on the GSI Pro, it's different. You need to set a fert program. It's similar to the Galileo, if you're familiar with the Galileo. But you need to choose that this valve will work with this fertigation program. So I'll show you. I go to programs. Oh, sorry, just for the co-valve. You see the plus here? That means that valve number 2 is gonna work and number 3 is gonna open with it. Okay, it's the same. It will open the same. But program number 1. In here, you see you can you choose the way you want to fertigate. Okay, duration or liters. Let's do water meter over there. The EC and the pH set point, like the targets, EC and this, it need to be set from here. Okay, but since it's on duration, you will not have the option. Okay, let's say I have liter. Oh, because we didn't set the ECPH. I have this option. But after you set the ECPH, you need to do the set point like that. The target EC is 1.2, so we need to insert it in here. Okay, this is first program number 1. And the same thing, this is, you see, fertilizer 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the dosing amount that you wanted to dose. 1 liter per cubes, or in here in the liters. So that means that how many liters from fert number 1 I want to insert to that irrigation. Okay, so let's say I chose I set fert program number 1. Okay, it's saved. Okay, it's saved. And I go to irrigation program. Irrigation program 1. Don't mind those arrows. It's just because we didn't set all the stuff, all the other stuff. So fertilizer on. The same, we will choose the valve. Just this is for 1 hour. And I go here and I choose program, fert program number 1. That means that this valve will irrigate for 1 hour and will fertigate what we told him on that fert program. Water before and water after. This means running clean water without fertigation. Before and after, if you want. In the advanced, I'll show you. You remember the logical condition. So here, if you want the program to work with it, you press condition 1, and on the logical condition, number 1 is gonna be the one that controls this irrigation program. Okay, don't use the from date and expire date. We had some customers that used it, but then they set an irrigation program and it did not open. They didn't know why. We logged in and we saw that the expire date passed already. This is why it's not opening that irrigation program. So just leave it like this if you don't want to use it. I mean, okay. All right. Stop time. Just don't do it. It's also for the when to stop the program. because this thing, those settings, sometimes your client is setting it and he forgets about it. And then it doesn't understand why it did not open, why the other programs don't open, because all of these are set and he forgot about it. And flushing program is for the filter flushing program, okay? Once you set the valve in here, I go here and I say valve number 3 is for my filter, okay? And we have interval time. That means that if I'm running irrigation for 1 hour and I will insert here 1 hour, then after 1 hour of irrigation, it will run the filter flush. Okay, different from the irrigation program. And also quantity. If you want after 50 cubes of running water, of irrigation running, stop and wash the filters. So you need to set 50 cubes here. DP switch, like we said, the pressure differential with the condition input to start the filter flush, you set it here. You need to choose which condition input it's connected. And that's it. Once you close contact, it will start the filter flush. It will wash the filters. All right, so just want to show you, you see here that I chose valve number 3. So if I go here, I need to see valve number 3. There will be a filter. You see I go here, valve number 3 is now the filter. You have irrigation logs, alert log, it's showing you the irrigation it have done. All the list in here. You have alert logs.
Thank you so much for spending your time to learn about the GSI and Galcon controllers. We hope that this has been educational for you. If you have any doubts or questions, feel free to reach out to us here in the US at 855-GALCON-C, or you can find all of our tech support and all that in emails and phone numbers, everything like that, at galconc.com. And if you like this video, please do hit the like and subscribe to the channel so you can see the upcoming videos about all of our new and interesting controllers. Thanks so much. Have a great day.